Hello everyone. Today we have with us Kirti. He was my super junior in college, and I remember the first time we met in basketball court. And as we were playing, like I randomly suggested him, like you can join the coding club that you have recently started. And from then on, it's been quite a nice journey. We have been together for several competitions and for Code Chef for certification programs and all. And he's been the core committee member of the Code Chef since after that. And so today he's here with us to share with us his interview experience with Infosys Power Programmer role. Hi, Kirti.
Hello, Bhaiya. Thank you for having me here. Myself, Kirti Bajpayee, and currently I am interning with Siemens Healthineers. And so we'll just start with my interview experience for Power Programmer at Infosys. The whole interview process started last year in the month of May, where I gave my first online round. So online round was actually uh, similar to a competitive programming round where we had 3 hours and 3 questions were allotted. So those 3 questions were actually based on DP. All those 3 questions were based on DP. I was able to do 2 questions. In my batch, what I saw was like whoever has done 2 full questions will be receiving the interview for Power Programmer, 2 or more than 2, and whoever have done 1 full and 1 partial question, that guy or girl will receive the DSC role interview. So the first question, which was it was a knapsack problem for DP, which was actually a memory optimization for that knapsack memory optimization. The other was a variation of matrix path sum problem. Matrix sum path problem, which is there on GFG, you can just search it. So that question, it was actually a variation for that. So I'll just want to state that here luck actually mattered a lot, because the level of questions for few of my friends also gave. So the level of questions were pretty high on those set. I actually received a comparatively easier set, but other guys received pretty hard questions which were based on some mathematics or some geometry problems. So that became actually complex. So after, like, those who have solved those 2 questions, so they were actually given the interview for Power Programmer, and those who solved 1 full and 1 partial, they were allotted DSC role interview. So we got actually 1 month time after the interviews were allotted. So after that. When the were held, it were held in month of July. So it was actually a 1 hour 30 or 40 minutes interview. It was technical plus HR based interview. So before the interview, you should know actually what type of interview it is, whether it is a technical interview or it is CS fundamentals related interview, something like that. So in my case, I got to know because of interview experience which I went through. So it was a technical plus HR interview. So firstly, we started with our introduction. He actually was a 9+ year experienced guy from Infosys. So and after that, we jumped to the DSA question. So I was given a question, it consisted of I was given a palindrome, and I need to find a next greater palindrome from that given palindrome. Okay, so I gave a brute force approach. Firstly, I discussed the constraints, because that thing is actually important in an interview. All the constraints which you need to handle, and what all exceptional cases can be there. We all discussed that. Then I gave a brute force solution for that, and after that, I optimized it using 2 pointers. I gave him a big O of n solution, I guess. So after that, we then went to a DSA round. DSA sorting we went to. So he asked me a sorting related question, which was some a large file was given, and it was arranged in some way, and you need to apply a best fit sort for that particular case. So after that, we came to merge sort, and he asked me implementation of merge sort. I actually explained him the implementation. Then we came to heap sort, I again explained him the implementation, and then he stated that you need to code it also. So I was actually not that confident in coding it because I didn't practice it, because in CP, what we do is we actually use the sort function. We never actually implement all those sorting algorithms, right? So I would also suggest that you practice all those sorting algorithms, the famous ones: selection, insertion, merge, quick, and heap. So I spent, I guess, 5 minutes, but it was getting late. So he told we will come to it later, and he then went to the projects. Then I had mentioned my three projects. One was for Django, one was for Flutter, and one was DMA project, which was AI/ML based project. So we discussed all those three projects. I got stuck in that DMA project. I in one or two questions I got stuck, but apart from that, I was able to answer all the questions. Then we came to resume. So he actually scanned through my resume and started asking me questions regarding the skills which I mentioned in my resume. So he went through C++ questions, Python questions, questions regarding Git version control, um, and the subjects which I mentioned in my resume. Actually, he gave a time to subjects a lot. Like he gave around 30 minutes to all those OOPS, OS, DBMS, and CN, and software engineering also. In software engineering, not much, but standard question like SDLC or agile software development, and what is that? Only those questions were asked. So for Python questions, which I was not actually aware of few questions which he asked, so I actually got stuck in those questions also. But apart from that, all the questions regarding the theories, the projects, everything I was able to tell. And then after in the last 10 minutes, he covered the HR questions. He asked two or three HR questions. And after that, he just said that if you have any questions or not. And then I just asked him few questions, and then our interview ended. After I guess 20 or 30 days, I got my offer for Power Promo.
Okay. So we can move on to some FAQs. So how was the difficulty of online round compared to face-to-face round?
uh, in online round, actually the difficulty was too high compared to the interview round. If someone has cleared the online round, then of course he would be able to ace through the DSA portion of the interview round. The online round was somewhat familiar to Codeforce's Div 2 round, where you may expect something like BCD difficulty. Okay, and everything in my set, everything was based on DP. Those three questions were based on DP. One was knapsack, other one was maximum path sum, and last one was some complex DP which I was not able to actually solve. So I actually solved two questions. So, so someone, if he has done competitive programming, or he is very good in like standard ESO also, so then he would be able to ace through the online round. But the difficulty will be high. In offline round, oh sorry, offline not. In the interview round, it will be a standard DSA based interview. So if you have like practice this linked list, BST, binary tree, and standard graph algorithms, then you would be good to go to clear that interview round. Mention that I would like to mention all that you need to be familiar with projects as well as theory also, because 50-60% of time is also given to theory and projects also. So, like in my case, 30 minutes were given for DSA, 30 for projects, and 30 for theory subjects. So that was the time allotment in my case. So that was the case. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and for many of the students, this will be the first time they are interviewing, and they're only used to solving problems in lead code or code share. So, in interview, how will it be? Like, is it like they give problem and you solve it and answer, or do you have to? Many other things are considered to make a higher call for them.
So in interview, actually, it is not actually like solving on CodeChef or LeetCode. So in interview, you actually need to involve your interviewer as well. You need to tell everything that what all the constraints are there. You need to actually ask with the interview what the constraint would be, what he's actually asking, and you need to formulate the overall problem statement. In code chef and lead code, you actually get the problem statement, you actually get the concern, everything is given to you. But here he will only tell you a question, and then you need to actually formulate the full problem statement by asking him. Then after that, you need to come up with a brute force solution, and step by step you need to optimize it until the interviewer is satisfied with the solution. Then he will tell you that go ahead, you can code. While coding also, you need to code out loud. Like while you are coding, you need to tell also like what you are coding, why you are using this vector, why you are actually sorting it, why you are using map. Apart from that, you actually need to follow the naming conventions also. Like you need not to use a, b, x, y, z, something like that. You need to give proper names to the variables, so that will actually help. And you need to write a modular code. If possible, like try to make it as modular as possible, because then it would be very easy to understand for the interviewer also. So these are some points which are like different when you are actually coding on competitive programming sites and in interview. So these points you need to keep in mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
So regarding the face-to-face round, like were there something you did to practice and get better?
Yeah. So before interview, like when the results for online rounds are declared, then firstly they will give you for some time, maybe 1 week time for resume submission. So firstly you need to work on your resume. Need not to put anything which you are not actually comfortable or confident with. You put only those skills and project in your resume that you are comfortable and confident with, because in the interview, the interview will allot you, like he will go through your resume and he'll ask you questions, and he will ask for around 20 to 30 minutes. Then if you mess up in those kind of situation, then you will be rejected. uh, though you might have solved the DSA question, still you will be rejected because of those reasons. Okay. So first is that thing I did. Apart from that, I also gave mock interview, because this was my first interview and I didn't have any experience. So I contacted a guy from LinkedIn. He was actually a power programmer, so he agreed to me to take a mock interview. So after that mock interview, he actually mentioned all those things, like coding out loud. I was not actually coding out loud, and discussing with the interview. So he told me all those things. And for behavioral questions, he told me like you need to trim down your question, you need to actually prepare beforehand about those interview questions. And you need to tell all the behavioral question in star format, which is followed. So he told me about that star format also. So that thing actually helped. Then I actually went through, and in that 1 month time, I actually went through all the standard DSA question, which the topics which we generally don't touch in competitive programming, like linked list, binary tree, binary search tree. These topics we actually don't touch, so we need to go through all those DSA questions also, standard DSA. Because in the interview you can't directly arrive at the most optimal solution if you don't actually know beforehand. Okay, so you need to practice a few questions like that. Then I also went to previous interview experiences, because I got an idea, okay, what kind of interview would be, what are the repeating questions which are there, and like what all the famous question or their favorite questions are there. Because I also made down a list, like these questions are actually very pretty famous for power programmer, they have asked this. So I actually went through all the previous interview questions, and I prepared some like 1 or 2 pages for each project also. Like all the tech stack which was used in the project, I went through all that interview questions for the famous question on tech stack. Maybe if I'm using Django, so the most famous question on Django. If I'm using Flutter, then most famous question on Flutter, something like that. And I also went through theory concepts of OOPS, OS, DBMS, and CN. So these all were the things which I went through before the interview, for face-to-face interview. Yeah.
Okay, nice. So any suggestions for during interview, like what should be the mindset?
Yeah. So during interview, I'll just tell that try to remain as calm as possible. For that power programmer interview, especially, it would be for me. It was my first interview, and for most of the people also, it would have been the first interview only. So I'll just tell that try to remain calm and take it as as a learning opportunity. If you get selected, then it is well and good. If you don't get selected, it would be a great learning experience. Okay, you got to an interview, you got to an actual interview, you gave you told your solution and you told your answers, where were you lacking. So it would be a very good learning experience. Apart from that, I will tell that try not to fake in the interview, or don't try to in the behavioral rounds actually. Don't try to actually fake your answer. Prepare it beforehand, and takes keep some real life scenarios regarding your life to back your answer actually in behavioral rounds. And the interview also need not to be flawless actually, because in my scenario also I was not actually able to tell two or three questions, but still I got selected. So they are actually looking for candidates who are actually communicating well, and who have good problem solving skills, and they are good with their CS fundamentals. And apart from that, I would suggest that discuss while coding. If you keep quiet while coding, the interviewer won't be able to know whether you are going on a right path or wrong path. If you are stuck or not, he won't be able to know. If you are stuck, then tell them, okay, sir, I'm not able, or sir, or you can just take the name also. Yeah, I'm not able to think of that. I'm stuck on this thing, and I'm not able to think above it. So he will tell that, okay, you can think in this direction or that direction. So he will only give you a hint if you tell them, or if you're thinking out loud. And always keep a smile on your face, and that actually shows your confidence, that you are actually confident in a confident guy. If you even mess up in a one question, then also keep calm and keep confident, because you might be able to solve the other question which he asks. So if you lose your calm, then you might also mess up the second question also. So that is why I will suggest the most important thing is to keep calm. Yeah.
Right. So any other pro tips do you have?
Uh, the pro tips, I'll just suggest that for people, if you have not given interviews, so go for mock interviews. Give one or two mock interviews so that you get idea. I'll you can directly approach guys on LinkedIn, and they are happy to help you out. And apart from that, if you haven't practiced famous question or standard questions, for each topic you can just do 20 20 or 30 questions, because there won't be much time, but you can finish 20 or 25 questions for each topic you can cover, so that you can get idea, look, okay, how to solve these type of questions, or how does the pattern is, okay. And I'll just suggest that revise all the CS fundamentals, because 30 minutes time is actually 30 to 40 minutes time is actually allotted for CS fundamentals in this interview. So you need to be familiar with your CS fundamentals, and don't put those projects and skills in your resume you are not familiar with, because that would be a red flag for you, and you would be rejected directly if you are not able to tell that. So keep your resume precise, and only those information should be there which you are comfortable with or confident with. Yeah.
Okay. So finally, do you want to discuss about a role of luck?
For the role of luck, I will just tell that you in this power programmer interview also, I got comparatively easier set, and my friends who gave that interview who gave that online round actually got a harder set. So luck actually matters in online round as well as interviews. There might I have seen like my friends who actually mess up in online tests, but they have cleared much better companies also. So you need not to cry after that, okay, I was not able to clear it, and what will happen next, will I clear any other interview or not. So you need not to think like that. Luck plays an important role, but you need to keep on practicing and grinding until you get your desired result. So luck will play some part, but not the 100% part. It will be your hard work which will land you to your final destination. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's all we have planned for this session. Thank you, Kirti, for being with us.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, sir.